Okay, today we are going to unwrap the incredible and, frankly, pretty surprising history of one of the world's most beloved treats, chocolate.
I mean, let's be real. Who doesn't, right? Whether it's dark, milk, or white, it's pretty much a universal comfort food. But have you ever actually stopped to think about where it comes from?
Yeah, because the story of chocolate doesn't start in a candy shop. Not even close. It starts thousands of years ago with something that you and I would barely even recognize. So forget everything you know about sweet and smooth, think bitter and foamy.
To really get to the origin, we have to travel way back in time, back to ancient Mesoamerica, which is where the story of chocolate truly kicks off. So, the true pioneers of chocolate, that would be the Maya people. Historians figure that about 2,000 years ago, they were the first ones to take cacao trees right out of the rainforest and start growing them in their own gardens. It became totally vital to their culture, and later on, it was even used like money by the Aztec Empire.
So, how did they make it? Well, it was a whole process. They'd cook the cacao seeds, crush them into a paste, and then mix it all up with water and spices. But here's the kicker. Absolutely no sugar. To finish it off, they would pour it back and forth between two pots to whip up this thick layer of foam on top. It was all about that foam. And this wasn't just some casual drink you'd have in the afternoon. Cacao was sacred. We see it carved into their buildings and painted on their art. The ruling families drank it at really important events, and it was even a key part of marriage ceremonies. But it wasn't just for the rich. Even the poorer members of society got to enjoy it from time to time.
Now the Aztecs, who came after the Maya, they took this reverence to a whole other level. See, the cacao plant couldn't grow where they lived, so they had to trade for it, which made it incredibly valuable. So valuable, in fact, that the legendary ruler Montezuma was said to drink something like 50 cups of it a day. The Aztecs called this drink chocolat, which literally translates to bitter water. I mean, it's a perfect description for what it was back then, and yep, it's almost certainly the root of the word chocolate that we use today. So for centuries, this bitter water was a Mesoamerican secret. But that was all about to change. The next chapter of our story begins with a long, long journey across the ocean. The big moment, the real turning point, came in 1502. When the explorer Christopher Columbus returned to Spain from his trip to Central America, he brought cacao seeds with him. And with that one simple act, chocolate's destiny was changed forever.
Once it arrived in Europe, chocolate began this radical transformation. It was about to go from a sacred, bitter drink to something very, very different. And the difference was just stark. In Mesoamerica, the drink was unsweetened, it was spiced, and it was deeply cultural. But the Spanish? They took one taste of this bitter water and basically thought, you know what this needs? Sugar. They sweetened it, and just like that, it turned from a ceremonial drink into this fashionable, luxurious treat that was exclusively for the wealthy. A total reinvention. And I really mean only the wealthy. As its popularity spread across Europe, to England, France, and the Netherlands, it stayed this super expensive import, a total status symbol that ordinary people could only dream of tasting. So what changed? How did chocolate get from the cups of kings to the candy bars in all of our pockets? Well, the answer, like with so many things, comes down to technology. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th century was the absolute game changer. All of a sudden, you have new machines and production methods that could do all the hard work, making it dramatically cheaper and easier to process cacao. This huge technological leap meant chocolate was no longer just for the rich. It was finally on its way to becoming a treat for everyone. And that brings us right up to the present day, where chocolate isn't just popular, it is a global phenomenon. Just let this number sink in for a moment. The market value of the yearly cacao crop worldwide is over $5 billion. That's the power of our collective sweet tooth right there. And to make that massive number a little more personal, think about this. Here in the United States, the average person eats more than 5 kilos, that's about 11 pounds of chocolate, every single year. So from a foamy, bitter drink in a Mayan ceremony to a $5 billion global industry, wow, chocolate has had an incredible journey. The next time you unwrap a piece, I wonder, will you be able to taste a little bit of that amazing history?